The family of the student who was shot and killed in an incident at Milwee Middle School 2 years ago is suing the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. Deputies say 15-year-old Chris Penley brought what they believed was a real gun to school and shot him. It turned out the gun was a toy made to look like the real thing. The officer who shot the boy, Lieutenant Mike Weinblatt, was cleared of any wrongdoing. However, the suit says Penley was confined to a restroom, had no hostages, no means of escape, and had not hurt anyone. And we're talking with Richard Weinblatt, who is the manager of the Seminole Community College Police Academy. He's also a firearms instructor, former police chief. About this issue, we've been talking a lot about this. First, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the factors that go inside this officer's head when he's faced in a situation like this.
Well, this was a tragic circumstance, Christine. No officer or deputy sheriff wants to be in this position. Heck, nobody does. And it's really sad for the Penley family. But when an officer is faced with a situation where they can articulate, which means to justify or explain, that they or someone else is in danger of imminent serious bodily injury or death, they have to take action to stop the threat. They're not shooting to kill necessarily. They're shooting to stop the threat, and that's what Lieutenant Mike Weinblatt was trying to do. Let's
talk a little bit about that, because we had brought up earlier, why don't you just shoot them in the leg? Why, right. Why did he have to shoot in the leg?
Well, and shooting somebody in the leg or shooting the gun, boom, out of their hand, right. I mean, that's television. But the reality is that most people as targets do not stand there perfectly still for an officer to do that. There's going to be some movement on the part of the officer or the deputy that's doing the shooting when they have to take action to stop a threat. And there's going to be some movement on the part of the person they're shooting at. So if you fire a bullet down range, you'll notice that the round is going to go a lot more off target if you move your hand slightly, or if the target moves slightly, you're going to miss it by a mile. And you don't get a second chance. So they have to shoot for what we call center mass, this area here, or have a real good, clear headshot, which is what Lieutenant Mike Weinblatt has, because you don't get a second chance. When you perceive that threat, if you shoot, miss, or shoot and hit the person just in the arm and they don't stop the action, or that's a threat, what do you do then?
Right.
So, I mean, it's one of those situations we were talking about earlier, Christine, where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If he had not taken that action, who's to say that other people in the area, including himself, could have been seriously hurt or killed? I mean, there was a classroom down the hallway. As a parent, I feel bad for the Penley family, but as a parent, I would also be concerned about other children in the vicinity. Even though they had evacuated a lot of the area and a lot of the area was on lockdown, they were not, particularly the ones in lockdown, were not completely out of danger.
So what should we learn from this situation? What's the message to hit home to people?
I think the message to people is that it is hard to second-guess officers. Absent concrete evidence to the contrary, folks like Lieutenant Mike Weinblatt have a very hard split-second decision to make. And I think we need to honor that decision. It's a tough decision. It's not one that's easy. But, hindsight is 20/20. Most people do not bring a look-alike pellet gun painted realistically to a middle school. And unfortunately, I think that this very troubled young man was looking for a solution which was not the solution any of us would have wanted, an outcome any of us would have wanted.
All right. I'm sure we'll be talking much more about this case and hopefully raising more awareness.
Yes, ma'am.
As well. We appreciate you joining us, and we will, of course, continue to follow the latest developments in this case.